Had gone into this room with some armed colleagues and tried to demand his sports memorabilia back. Ted Rowlands has been watching this trial, and he joins us live from the courthouse. Ted, what happens now? O.J. Simpson, Clarence Stewart, guilty on all counts.
Yeah, extraordinary, Paulina. All counts guilty. He is looking at a considerable amount of time in jail, possibly a life sentence because of that kidnapping charge. What will happen now is the judge will say, thank you to the jury, thank you for the service, and then she will remand O.J. Simpson into custody. So he will be taken by the court bailiffs here in the courtroom up on the 15th floor at this courthouse and taken down through a tunnel underneath the courthouse to the county jail, the Clark County Jail Detention Center, where he will remain for probably the next month. Typically, it's about a 30-day wait between the verdicts and the sentencing. And at that time, he'll be brought back up in 30 days, and this judge will sentence him to whatever she decides is necessary. But because of the amount of counts that he is facing, even if Judge Jackie Glass gives him the minimum sentences through all of these counts, he is looking at a considerable amount of time in jail. He has to do a 15-year minimum on the kidnapping alone, and then you add the 1 to 2 years on all of the other counts. This is a 61-year-old man we're talking about. Most likely, he will spend the rest of his life in jail. If she comes into the middle of the road or even on the high end of the road, he most likely will not even be eligible for parole, depending on how harsh her sentencing is. It's really extraordinary given the confidence that the defense attorneys had coming into this case. After the preliminary hearing, they had a press conference stating that they felt that this case should have been thrown out after the preliminary hearing, and had a lot of confidence coming into this trial. Obviously, this jury did not believe their argument that this was much to do about nothing, just him going to collect his stuff. They came in full force in favor of the prosecution, finding O.J. Simpson 13 years to the day that he was acquitted by a Los Angeles jury for double murder. This jury in Las Vegas, Nevada, has found him guilty on all counts.
That is a strange coincidence, the 13th anniversary of that murder trial that people watched around the world. And it was certainly, I imagine, the white elephant in the courtroom that no one was really allowed to mention, Ted. As we watched the verdicts being read, O.J. Simpson looked down, he nodded, he looked defeated. Ted, tell me who was in the courtroom for Simpson. Who was in the gallery? Were his children there? Were their friends there? Any relatives?
His friend, Tom Scotto, his sister, was also in the courtroom, and they were visibly weeping as the verdicts were being read. And they read the verdicts against C.J. Stewart, the co-defendant first. When he was found guilty on all counts, it was obvious that Simpson, who had a larger role by anybody's estimation than Stewart, would have the same fate. So obviously, they are very upset by this. Simpson hasn't seemed to show too much emotion as he stands there now. You see him, they're putting the handcuffs on him now, and he will be in the custody of the state of Nevada now, most likely for a number of years, possibly for the rest of his life. After being acquitted on those double murder charges and spending the last 13 years a free man, O.J. Simpson now going to jail possibly for the rest of his life. You see the handcuffs there on his hands as he is led away, obviously upset. We talked to O.J. Simpson just before these verdicts were read on the phone while he was on the way over here, and he said he felt apprehensive. Now, undoubtedly, he is feeling some disappointment as he heads to jail and awaits his sentence next month.
A U.S. football legend remanded to custody. Ted, is there any chance that his lawyers will appeal these charges or these verdicts?
Absolutely, they'll appeal. Absolutely, they'll appeal it right away. And there's a shot right there, emotional shot of Tom Scotto, his very dear friend who is here with his wife from Florida. They have supported O.J. Simpson throughout this entire trial. Obviously, they're very upset. You could expect that the lawyers will appeal this immediately. They'll attack the way the court proceedings were held. They had some criticisms of this judge. They'll use everything they can. But the bottom line is appeals take a very long time in the United States, and the appeals really can't kick in until after the sentencing. So they will appeal. Will they be successful? Who knows? Let's listen to the judge.
And that will be the only thing on the calendar that morning. Thank you. Court is now in recess.
All rise. Recess.
The judge has ruled that O.J. Simpson be taken into custody, remanded to custody without bail, and has set the sentencing date, I believe, for the 5th of November. I'm not actually, someone is telling me the sentencing, December 5th. So December 5th, it's going to be a while. The judge has picked a sentencing date for O.J. Simpson for December 5th. He will stay in Las Vegas here until that date in the county jail. After his sentencing, of course, he will be put into the state of Nevada's penal system and be assigned to jail where he will remain for some time. Again, recapping, these charges carry with them significant jail time, especially the first-degree kidnapping, which he was found guilty of. There is a minimum of 15 years attached to that sentence. It goes all the way to life in prison. And you add the other 11 counts, and you can see that he, at a 61-year-old man, is going to be spending a good portion of the rest of his life, if not all of the rest of his life, in jail.
Ted, if you can just hold on, we want to recap for our viewers who are just tuning in and let them listen to the verdict that was just handed down about 10 minutes ago from the jury. Let's take a listen.
Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, as follows. Count 1, conspiracy to commit a crime. Guilty. Count 2, conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Guilty. Count 3, conspiracy to commit robbery. Guilty. Count 4, burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon. Guilty of burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon. Count 5, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Bruce Fromong. Guilty of first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Count 6, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon, Alfred Beardsley. Guilty of first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Count 7, robbery with use of a deadly weapon, Bruce Fromong. Guilty of robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Count 8, robbery with use of a deadly weapon, Alfred Beardsley. Guilty of robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Count 9, assault with a deadly weapon, Bruce Fromong. Guilty of assault with a deadly weapon. Count 10, assault with a deadly weapon, Alfred Beardsley. Guilty of assault with a deadly weapon. Count 11, coercion with use of a deadly weapon, Bruce Fromong. Alternative to count 5, guilty of coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Count 12, coercion with use of a deadly weapon, Alfred Beardsley. Alternative to count 6, guilty of coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Dated this 3rd day of October 2008, juror number 3, foreperson. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are those your verdicts as read? So say you one, so say you all, as to defendant Orenthal James Simpson.
Yes.
So there you heard it. Guilty on all counts for O.J. Simpson, as well as his co-defendant, Clarence Stewart, in this incident. And Ted, let's look back at the trial. You covered the trial.
Hey guys, this is Tracy from callahottie.com. Call me for the hottest nut busting, cum sucking sex talk anywhere.